If you're a busy entrepreneur, training can be one of the most effective ways to clear your head and sharpen how you think. In this episode, I'll show you exactly how I structure my weekend training, how I fuel my 30k run, why I still lift during 75 hard, and the recovery habits that help me properly reset, so I can walk in on Monday feeling clear, energized, and ready to lead at a high level.
I'm liking this one still. Yo, bad monster, she like my tune, she like my tone.
So we're going to London Bridge to meet two guys called Sam and James. They're brothers. They're going to be helping me out on my long run today, and there's a kind of a cool story which we'll tell when they get here about Chicago Marathon this year. So I texted them, told them I was in the middle of London training, did they fancy coming up for a run? But I am a little bit worried, they're both very good runners. So they both ran 2:24 at Chicago. I think hopefully it's not too slow for them, but I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm cracking out the carbon stilettos for the first time of the vlog.
Breakfast wise, what did you have today?
So I always on the long run days had the same. 2 bagels, peanut butter or almond butter, and then a banana, sometimes 2 bananas. And then start nailing a litre of electrolytes with just 1 sachet in. And then if I'm doing something big like this today, I'll then also have a white monster. I'll then also probably have 2 of the Undisputed Carb Goats supermarket shelves. Depending, if I had a huge pasta or something last night, then I probably wouldn't do that. If last night was like sort of your average dinner, then I will do that as well.
How many gels?
I'll probably have about 8. Yeah, the last couple of weeks I've been doing like 70 grams an hour, and today I'm going to try and do 90 grams an hour, so 1 every 20 minutes.
I like that just from POT.
Yeah, the boys!
Hey, mate.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, man.
Found it okay?
Yeah, not bad, man, not bad. Good?
Yeah, really good.
Good.
Thank you so much. Don't worry guys, your skin's waterproof. The plan is, so we've got 2.5 hours on the cards today. We've got an hour easy, then 30 minutes slightly faster, 20 minutes at marathon pace, and then sort of half an hour to 40-minute cool down. We're gonna go along the river, past Buckingham Palace, Hyde Park, out to Battersea Park, do a lap, and then come back. The boys are training for Brighton and London. So this is my first long run actually with anybody.
Yes.
So I brought in the big guns for this one, but it's nice to get out and we'll do some catching up en route.
How did you meet the boys?
That's a great question actually. So we did Boston, Paris and London like 3 weeks in a row it felt like. There might have been a week in between. And we did a pop up there at a coffee shop, had a race vest and everything. It was really, really cool. And you were first there when we got there, because I remember when we got there.
Yes,
you had your Pure Sport kit on and we were just buzzing with one person to come. But yeah, we just kept in touch throughout the years, and then every once in a while I open up my Instagram and well, I remember I did a video about it, but was it this year? It was last year. I opened up and won the Brighton Marathon in his Pure Sport vest. Yeah. All right, should we get into it? Do you know we're bikers? Yeah.
My bro said he wanna get paid, okay, let's see what's possible. Pop the pill and I feel alright, I believe I can fly, I feel unstoppable. I get flashbacks in my mind, back times we'd grind all night, it was horrible. It was flights and stairs, now I'm taking flights and arriving somewhere tropical. Man, I call in my phone about beefing my feet.
We're coming up almost an hour 20, so 10 more minutes at 4:30s, and then down to race pace for 20 minutes, which is when you'll hear me stop talking probably. But it's good, miles go fast when you're chatting, and I only get to see these boys a few times a year, so good to catch up on everything they've been doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Learning all about what it's like to be at the front of the winter 10k.
James is loving it. Yeah.
If your aim is getting me down, good luck. We're alive and well and we're still on top.
So we just got back from the run, and Lucy went up to Hackney in the van this morning. She asked if we were coming back, which I said we would. And look at this! She grabbed us some bananas, some croissants, put out some raspberry salt, electrolytes, and some chocolate milk. Sadly, I'm on the no sugar at the moment, so chocolate milk's not good for me, but these boys are good. And now we're just going to head over to the Hoxton and have some food, refuel, and we're going to tell a little story about Chicago with these boys. So it was really cool in Chicago last year. I went out there and met up with these boys, and I knew they were doing it. I wasn't sure at the time how fast they wanted to run. Spoke to them about, we'd just finished the first run of the gels that week, and I just dropped some gels off to Benner's Running, and then went and linked up with these boys the day before. Went to meet them at a pub actually.
Met up with Dan at a dive bar, picked up the gels for the race for the day. Bit of a random spot to do it, to be fair, wasn't it? But no, it was good. Actual race day, absolutely unbelievable day.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah, I think we just stuck together the whole way. Yeah, quality. And then you moved ahead a little bit. I just tried hanging on in there.
Tried at 22. I remember you just saying to me, like, do you feel good? And I was like, yeah, I feel like I've got I've got something that kicked on, knowing I probably don't. Sam came last corner, wasn't it?
Last corner, and then I think I was like, I need to finish with James. I need to catch up, and we need that photo on the line together. And I think last corner, you just looked back,
screaming.
And then we both screamed at each other, and I think everyone in the side's just like, these guys are mad.
Like, arm in arm. Absolutely unbelievable.
Arm in arm, yeah, unreal. Used the Pure Sport gels, of course, as well.
Yeah.
So when I finished the race, I didn't have my phone, so I got back to the hotel room. I wasn't sure, and I knew these boys wanted to try and run fast. But then what had transpired was Ben had a PB, like he was 223, just below 223. So he was the second Brit, and then these two boys came in third and fourth Brits, arm in arm, together in 224. And it was just like the most amazing things, like open up my phone and see. So Pure Sport gels were second, third and fourth Brits at the Chicago Marathon on the opening weekend in which we sold them. And I was saying to these boys before about just how it's been like a tough couple of weeks at work, but like these sorts of things are the things that are so special. You know, I've known these guys for 2 years now, like pretty loosely, you know, get to connect with them around some of the big races, but even just doing like those miles today, catching up, seeing them wearing Pure Sport, seeing other people wearing Pure Sport out in the park and stuff. I think that's all the stuff that like really brings the brand to life. And the thing that I get the most buzzing about is when our products help people like achieve their goals, of which these guys are setting amazing new goals every year and crushing them. So that was a really special thing about the marathon.
The electrolytes are great every day with the amount we're running at the moment. It's just spot on. Yeah. Great flavours,
No gut issues. That's the big thing. That's the one that
always the big thing.
Class.
So, yeah.
How did Dan get on the run today? Was it alright?
Done good. Around Battersea when we had to pick it up, because of course you're running Battersea.
I think he was towing us along at parts.
Yeah,
definitely.
It. First 20 miler, he said, of the block, wasn't it? 9 weeks out.
Yeah, and we had no idea where we were going, so yeah. Poor Dan had to keep going left, right, straight, 20 miles in. So
Plans for London then?
For me, 221. I want that 221. If it happens, let's see. But got 9 weeks left, 7 weeks, 2 week taper.
Yeah, and I'll just try and cling on to James best I can.
He's got Brighton. He's going out to win Brighton.
We'll see.
Again.
Check that in Pure Sport.
That's it. Yeah. Always.
Well, that was actually better than I thought it was going to be, which was nice. Probably one of the more enjoyable 20 milers I've ever done. So a little bit demoralising when the two people you're doing it with are in zone 2, but it was just great to chat with them and catch up. And then once we got into the marathon block, it was cool because they just took over that and I just sort of slotted in. So no, it was really good. Probably I was a little bit worried about that beforehand as well. Bit of pre-game nerves, but no, I actually really enjoyed it. The route was good and saw a few people out there and whatnot, so which was great. Boys have been using the gels, which is cool. And yeah, just cool to recap on the Chicago story and just like think about those memories again, because it was a really special day. I was talking to them there at the end as well that we're bringing out a new unflavoured gel at the end of March. We currently do orange and berry. And one of the big bits of feedback that we get is just around having an unflavoured variation for people who are, you know, doing really long stuff and want something that's not flavoured. So that comes out at the end of March. We've been doing loads of testing on that, and I just sort of floated the idea to those guys as well about that. And as guys who are doing 100 miles a week, they were pretty excited about that, so that's cool. I'm gonna head home. I have got to do a bit of work today. It's just been such an intense couple of weeks, man. So many growing pains in the business. It's actually been really, really hard. We have like quite a few what you'd call like opportunity problems at the moment. So things kind of going wrong because there's lots of opportunity around, and you know, the growth is good, which brings challenges. So that's been really tough. And then within that, the business is just really growing up at the moment. That's in everything: people, systems, processes, how we think about things. So it's been a really tough couple of weeks for me, actually. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit more, but plan for the rest of the day is go home, have a shower, do a couple hours of work. Those guys were asking me about if I work on the weekends, and I sort of said, like, it's just one of these things where when you're building and there's lots going on, even if you're not maybe on your laptop, you're just always thinking about it. But I do think long runs like that and spending time with people and things like those are the things that help you really clear your head and think about some of those big problems, or take your mind off the problems for a few hours.
Yo, all my L's, they call me the V.
So we're just going to make a shake. It's been great doing the shakes over the last few weeks and like trialing all the different flavors. Actually going up on Monday to the flavor house again to have another round of sessioning, doing all the flavors, and they just give us these buckets to take away with us and try them. I think that one thing that's been so exciting as we've like got more into the process is actually how boring and prime for disruption the protein category is. We've had to order loads of different, samples and competitor products to compare against and sort of see where the market is on some of the different types of chocolate, the different types of cookies or cream, etc. And actually like seeing them all lined up, but also trying them has been, almost quite surprising. It's very similar to when we developed the gel. When we developed the gel, everyone was complaining to us about taste and texture of the other gels. And when we brought them, when we tried all the other competitor ones on the market, we really started to understand some of the problems. And a very similar things happening with protein at the moment. So I just have full fat milk, 1 big scoop of protein, which is about 25 grams. I do 2 bananas, 80 calories or something. And then I just do like a good dip of almond butter. I should really use a spoon, but I just kind of do it like that. And at the moment, while I'm training twice a day, I kind of have one of these in the morning and then also one of them at night time. But I didn't have one before we went out on the run this morning, just because I don't really have too much milk and things before long runs. One of the crazy things about the protein, as I was sort of saying there about some of the flavors, is just all the different variations of chocolate or vanilla or cookies and cream. Do you want Madagascan vanilla? Do you want French vanilla? Do you want vanilla ice cream? Do you want creamy vanilla? And until we actually went up to the flavor house and started really smelling them and sampling them, it's actually been quite a big surprise about the variation in the process. What makes you really great as a startup is your ability to just like try loads of things, try them at speed, figure out what works, and pretty much not die and not run out of cash. Once you've found out what works in your business and you move into this more like scale up phase, which would be like, 10 million to 50 million, what's required in the businesses is a totally different skill set. And it actually comes down to taking those things that you do really well and doing them very disciplined. It's called like executional discipline, and just doing them over and over and over again and not getting bored of doing them. So when the business goes through this transition, it grows up in a whole different number of ways. How the business needs to operate, the processes, the systems, and the people. Because often the people who are really good at that kind of 0 to 5, 0 to 1, 0 to 5 scrappy stage, the skill set that they have, it actually doesn't necessarily suit the next stage, because at 0 to 5, it's about shooting from the hip, trying things out, being really nimble. And they love the fast pace, they love the momentum of that. Then 5 to 10, 10 to 20, it's about being really good at doing the same things over and over again, and just making little 80%, or like doing 80% the same thing and making 20% little changes to just make sure that those things are exciting and new and fresh to the customer. So we're just really going through that at the moment on everything in the business. And within that, my role has really become to like build an amazing senior leadership team, and we're on the cusp of doing that. We've had some amazing people join in the last 8 weeks. We've got 2 more to join. So a brand director who will hopefully join in April, May time, and a head of finance who will hopefully join around that time as well. And that will be the senior leadership team sort of complete then. And I think that senior leadership team will be able to take us from where we are now to sort of 30 million. So that's been a challenge, but that's my job then, is like lay out the game plan and let the amazing people in the senior leadership team, let that come to life. But when you're doing that, you're hiring, you're doing your day job, you're mapping things out, and then trying to keep the team motivated, which in the middle of winter is brutal. In London now, it's rained every day this year for 8 weeks. You're coming out the back of winter, You know, it's not a particularly nice time of year, especially there's not loads of like fun marketing things going on, events, etc. You know, there's a whole lot of things within that which is really challenging. It's been a bit of a melting pot of all of those things, to be honest. And then the knock-on effect for that, me personally, is I stay at the office late, I then train late. You train late, you sleep worse. You don't get up as early as you previously were, so your routine's not as good. Then you rinse and repeat, because then you get into the office a little bit an hour later, which means you stay later, and you're just then in that cycle. So last 10 days for me have been a bad cycle. I haven't been starting at 7 a.m, I've been starting more like 8, and actually losing that hour first thing in the morning just has such a big difference, as I say. And then I'm running at 9 p.m. at night, sleep worse, back to it again the next day. Yeah, so I'm just going to do a couple of hours now. I actually forgot that England are playing Ireland today, so I'm going to watch that. And so I'm just going to do an hour now. I'll then watch that game, and then see how I go over the next hour, and I tick off those things that I want to. Continue to just keep eating food, and then I'll go to the gym at 5 o'clock for a session just before it closes at 6.
I should probably reminisce more. Been elevating from my steps up in the lift door.
Had a couple of really tough workouts during 75 hard because of the late at nights, but this one feels probably one of the toughest in terms of how I'm feeling. Pretty much saved it right until the last minute. It's bang on 5:15 now, and the gym closes at 6. So I'm just going to hit 15 minutes on the watt bike, and then cop out a little bit and do 30 minutes of guns, which will take me up to 6. Then I've been thinking all afternoon about going and getting a big steak from Marks and Spencer. So we'll go and do that after we get through this.
That's why the goons rolling round with a gun on.
Done and dusted. It was actually pretty enjoyable once it got moving again. So in terms of food this afternoon, I had some peanut butter and jam on like sourdough toast. And then during the rugby I ordered Nduja carbonara off Deliveroo, which is good. It was, I got like the extra 25% portion, so it was about maybe like 1,200 calories. Then had another rice bar. And then heading to M&S now. I'm just gonna have steak and eggs tonight. I've kind of been thinking about it all day. So they do these massive like 450 gram steaks there. They're really expensive, but they are good quality. Do that with eggs. Have the protein shake again before dinner, and then maybe a bagel. But that'll be about me for food tonight.
Seen plat sniff, crack chicks, BAFTAs and Brits. Seeing everybody change as I'm rapping this spliff. Now the mirror's all smoky when I'm sat in man's whip. I'm live. Just tell mum if I don't make it, I tried. They've been feeding me a plate full of lies.
It's just after 10 o'clock now. I'm gonna start winding down for bed. Just having some peanut butter and jam on toast. And then my second protein shake of the day. The chocolate flavour of this one is absolutely awesome. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed some of the insights that I shared with Alex this afternoon. If that's you out there, you're building right now, you're having a tough time, don't worry about it. Tough times don't last, tough people do. So just keep building, keep heading into the eye of the storm, and you will get through it. I appreciate every single one of you for following along, and everyone who's a part of the Pure Sport journey. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bad monster, she like my tunes, she like my tone and aura. How you look like that, but what act shy? I said just sold them.